Hey, welcome to day 4 of your F.L.Y celebration. This is an important day. It's not necessarily the most fun day, but it's absolutely necessary if you're going to have sustained joy in your life. Now, maybe you've experienced this so far. Maybe you've filled your heart up with these activities, and maybe you've done some of them. I hope you have. And that has given you joy in the moment that you were doing that activity. But we're all human, and we have to go about our lives, and there are things that trigger us in our lives, and there are reactions that come up that may not be joyous. And so there may be things that happen to us during the day that we just really don't feel very joyous about. And that's normal, and that's okay. But what we're going to take a look at today is how you can make some subtle shifts that will bring lasting joy into your life. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to reevaluate your shoulds and reframe your have tos. Okay, let's break that down. Reevaluate your shoulds. So we all have things that we do in our lives that we do because we feel like we should do them. No one's going to be injured or harmed, or the world's not going to end if we don't do these things, but we feel some kind of responsibility that we should do them. Okay, and then we have our have tos. So there's the things that we pretty much have to do because we're committed to doing them. It's a role that we fulfill. And for example, I'm a mother, so I have my have tos with my children. I have to put food on the table for them. I have to care for them, provide them shelter. But then there are things that are just my shoulds. Oh, I really should clean the house today, or I really should call this person, or there are just things that are on the should list that we do because we feel obligated to do so. So on a piece of paper, I want you to write your shoulds and your have tos, okay? And after you kind of jot down those things in your life, I want you to take a close look. What can you cross off your shoulds list? And now this doesn't mean you cross it off forever, but let's cross it off for a while and see what happens, right? The world's not going to end if you say no to a certain activity that you don't really feel like doing, that you got invited to, or something that you maybe felt like you should help out with. Maybe you can cross that off. Maybe it doesn't need to be your should. Let me give you one example. Like I said, the should clean my house. That was always weighing on me before because I can't really function until my space is tidy and clean. But it was taking up way too much of my time, and other things in my life were suffering. So when we hired someone to do the house cleaning for us, it opened up so many doors for me. We just removed that should off my plate, and it opens up a door for someone who needed the work to come in and get financially compensated for cleaning the house, and took it off my plate. So it was a win-win. So that's reevaluating your shoulds, is not being afraid to say no. You have to be able to say no in your life because it opens up so many more yes doors, and it takes this burden off your shoulders. This should you carry on your shoulders as you go through life, and when you let it go, it opens up those wings. All right, that's reevaluating your shoulds. Now, reframing your have tos. Okay, let's talk about the things you have to do. Maybe you have to go to your work because you're committed to it. And like I said, if you have children, you have to care for your children because that's a role you play as a mother. So, reevaluating these have tos is how can we make them more fun? How can we bring more joy to those activities? I have to cook meals for my family, yes, but what can I do to make it more fun? I can put on awesome music and dance. I can put on an inspirational podcast and feed my mind and my soul. I can have really inspirational foods in my refrigerator so that when I go to prepare that meal, it's a wonderful thing to do because I have all these fresh options to prepare the meal with. So that's reevaluating something I had to do. It's the same thing with the laundry for me. It used to not be the most fun job, but I do the same thing now. I invite the kids in to fold the laundry with me, and someone reads aloud from a book as we fold the laundry. And it's a nice family time, and we get also the inspiration from the book. I have to, driving my children to classes. I'm just sharing you my examples so you have some way to frame this. I have to drive my children into their classes in town because we've committed to them being in those classes. It's a long drive for me. It's 45 minutes one way. It used to feel like a burden to have that time in the car, but now it's the same way that I reframed it, the same way I mentioned with the cooking. I listen to podcasts while I'm driving, or I put on my absolute favorite music and I sing along, and it's kind of like my free fun time. So I've just learned ways to reframe my have-tos that add more joy into my daily activities. And so those are the two things I want you to consider for this day and carry it out with you through the rest of your week. As you're going to do an activity, okay, is this a should? Is this something I could say no to? If it's not, if it's a have to, how can I make it more fun? All right, you guys, I look forward to hearing how that worked for you, and I'll see you next time.